know they're really throwing you off.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. All right, they said we're good.
Welcome to McDonald's Coaches Bench here on Mix 104.1, and it's Coach Chandler Tygard, year number 2 here as the Cleveland Blue Raider head football coach, and we're so happy to have him again on the program. Coach, you are the busiest man in Cleveland, Tennessee. You never have any time off. You've got a million things going on. Thank you for the about 15 minutes that we're going to do this program. I'm Terry Evans of Mix 104.1, and a brand new setting for us, Coach, here at CHS Live on the campus of Cleveland High School. You and I did the program last year, and years before that too. CHS Live would do this for us, and thanks to Dale Halfacre and his crew. And a new setting for us, a room that formerly wasn't a studio, and now it's a great-looking studio.
Yeah, this is cool. This is like a little podcast studio. I got to wear pants now. I don't have the desk to cover me.
We got to look good from now on.
So they caught us off guard, but this is a sharp-looking room right here.
I walked into this one, and I thought, this has been upgraded. I think it used to be a storage room, and now it's a great-looking studio. Speaking of Dale and his crew, I have to thank Will Kelly, Ava, sorry, I don't have the last name, and I asked Dale about the third member of the CHS Live group that was helping produce this program, and he gave me the name Bubblegum. So Bubblegum and all the others, thank you very much.
Yep, shout out Bubblegum.
Absolutely. Coach Tygard, let's talk a minute about your summer. Tell us some of the things about your summer.
So we had a lot going on this summer. We had the 7-on-7 tournaments. We traveled to UT Knoxville. We traveled to the University of Memphis, stayed overnight there. We went all the way. We were one play away from winning the Memphis tournament. We did very well at that one. We went to the Hoover Elite Tournament down in Hoover, Alabama, which is the most difficult 7-on-7 tournament in the country. Did not do so well there, but we saw a lot of good speed and good coached, well-coached teams. And, then that transfers into, summer workouts. We had some scrimmages. So we did a spring game against Upperman, brought them down. They pounded it on us pretty good. Adjust there. Then we had a scrimmage with Campbell County, a long ways away to go all the way up there for them to chew the clock on us a little bit. We had a long bus ride home, but a good scrimmage. And then obviously we did well against East Hamilton. Won the scrimmage there, and then just finished up one with Boyd Buchanan and got some lessons out of that one too. So we're going into the Clinton game. Clinton's got a lot of talent, a lot of transfers again, and so it's going to be a challenge for us on Friday night. Home opener. We got all kinds of new things, new lights, new speaker setup. We're transitioning the jumbotron board over, and CHS Live's different. We're not live streaming this year. But we still got the radio calls, you guys on My Mix 104, and we're trying to make it to where the home games are the most entertaining thing, and we want people to come back and come physically be there in the game and not just watch the unbelievable presentation that we had last year for free, from your couch. So some people that are out of town will be disappointed by that, but at the same time, we've got such a cool product that you need to see it in person this year. So that's what we hope everybody shows out.
And let me go back just a moment on our intro. Thanks to McDonald's here in Cleveland, Mark Smith and all of his crew bringing you Coach's Bench. And Mark Smith has been a huge Cleveland goes back years and years, and not giving ages away, but Mark over the years has been tremendous for Cleveland High School. He has he and McDonald's has sponsored this program for a long, long time. And Mark Smith and everybody at McDonald's, thank you very much. Wouldn't be possible if they weren't behind us.
These beautiful uniforms that we're unveiling on Friday night were sponsored by Mark and McDonald's. So special shout out to Mark this year.
He has gone above and beyond the call of duty this year in helping things out at Cleveland High School. Not surprising because he's been doing this a long time, supporting the school. Mm-hmm. Coach, let's talk a moment here in the first segment about the offense. That always lights people up, just like these right
Yeah.
here. But it lights people up. It's kind of what you're known for. Let's talk about the Cleveland offense.
Yeah, so we're doing some different things this year. So we're still going fast, but we also have multiple tempos like we showed against Bradley last year. If we need to slow it down, we can. We're playing a lot more players. So last year we only played 23 kids on both sides of the ball on offense and defense, and then this year that number is probably double. So we've got a lot of different receivers that can get in the game and different personnel packages. We're playing with a lot more tight ends this year, and everywhere in between. We're playing with 3 quarterbacks so far. So we're doing a lot of things, and we're very tough to defend because we are so multiple this year. But being second year in the offense, you're able to do this. So the kids understand the entire concepts, and you can change formations and motions and plays. And it's not new to them because now they've been doing it now for their second year. So we return a lot of players with production from last year, and we're real happy where we're at right now going into the first game compared to our time first game last year.
Absolutely, and just being the second year in the system has to make a world of difference for those guys.
It's huge, and honestly, it opens up the playbooks to where you can probably do twice the amount of plays that you would have seen from last year's team, and we're able to adjust so we can go out there with four and five wide receivers for one play, but all those receivers play defensive back. So if they get tired, then we can go out there with 4 tight ends if we need to, but by doing that, it makes you very hard to defend because you're not sure what formations, who's going to be in the game, and all of our tight ends are so athletic they can still go out there and play wide receiver. So just because Sam and Sawyer come in, that doesn't mean you're getting a 2 tight end formation. So we're doing a lot, and we put a lot on the kids. We probably are rolling into the game with 96 different plays, where last year we were probably only running about 20. So it's a big difference this year.
Surely is. In interviewing Sam yesterday after practice, I asked him about now being the linebacker, not just a tight end, and he's kind of thrilled about it, and he's looking forward to being on both sides of the ball, and he's just a great young man, and we'll interview him and other players throughout the year. And Coach, tell us about the offensive line. People like me always are watching the ball. Who's got the ball? Where is it going? Et cetera, et cetera. Tell us about the men up front making the way.
Yeah, well, we're lucky we have 4 seniors that all return on the offensive line. So we've got Joster Canales at left tackle, Stonewall Charetz at right tackle, Big Nate Carter's the left guard, and then you've got Dugan is the one underclassman that's now, he was playing guard last year. He's our center right now. And then Aiden Smith, who was a student that came in mid-year last year, would have started if he would have come before the season, but now he's finally got that starting spot at right guard, and he's a big, huge dude. So the offensive line, to have 4 seniors and the guys that have played a lot of football, that's awesome for an offense when you return a lot of the skilled players and talent that we have on the outside.
And there's no small people up front for you.
Yeah, they're not the tallest group, honestly. There are a lot of center and guard bodies, but they're big and they're mean. And this on both sides of the ball, we're way more aggressive. We're a lot meaner than we were last year. And our inside run periods the pads are popping a little bit better than last year, and so we're excited where we're going to be.
Talking to Joster yesterday also after practice, and he just started smiling when I asked him about being in the offensive line. He loves to hit people. Had a big smile on his face. He likes popping the pads and looking forward to his senior year. And so you do have some experience there in the front. You got 3 quarterbacks, as you mentioned. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've got Cash Bandy, a senior, Chase Stevens, or junior, and then Casey McGowan, a sophomore. They all have similar but little different skill sets, and without giving anything away, we have kind of different packages for different kids. But I'm real happy about them. I mean, I've always played multiple quarterbacks. I think there's an important reason to do it is, one, the quarterback position for most teams, there's only one kid that plays, and if quarterbacks can get along and share plays for each other, and share the spotlight, well, then these wide receivers that are a lot of times prima donnas have no excuse to not get along because a lot of them get to play. And so we like to play multiple quarterbacks, but at the same time, if one can just stick out and be the guy that we have to win the game, then that's who we'll roll with. But right now, we're still trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. And you do have a lot of weapons. offensively, I think points are going to be lighting up the big scoreboard down there quite often.
Well, at least the lights are going to flash this year when we score. So I wish our games were at the back end of the season because it's still going to be so light.
Right.
Or we could push it back to 8 o'clock. But, yeah, we feel good where we're at offensively, so we're excited. But we can't have penalties. We can't have false starts. We can't have holding calls and calling back touchdowns. We've done a good job discipline-wise of trying to crack down on personal fouls and all that this year. Celebrations, we've had to cover that in an earlier scrimmage. But, we do so much on offense and shifts in motions and personnel groupings. It's really easy for one receiver to be on the ball when he's supposed to be off the ball.
Yeah.
And just by doing that, it kind of slows down the whole momentum of the game, and that happened in the Boyd scrimmage. And so we really have to be on it because we're asking these kids to do a lot formationally.
That's going to be the first segment here on the program brought to you by McDonald's every week. Mark Smith and all of his crew at McDonald's. We're going to take a break on Coach's Bench, and we'll be back with Coach Tygard in just a moment.
I had to cough for a minute.
That's it.
God. Here, let me get a sip while we're taking a break.
Sure.
I got some coffee. All right, you should be good. Let me double check. Oh, yeah, that's it. All right. Now remember, we need to put the commercials in on the breaks
we're gonna do
on
it.
the YouTube. Yeah.
Whenever y'all are ready, when it's door.
All right. Get a
Okay.
McDonald's commercial going.
Welcome to segment 2 on Coach's Bench, brought to you each week by McDonald's, Mark Smith, and his crew here in Cleveland. Coach Tygard, let's go to the defensive side of the ball for the Blue Raiders for 2024, and a lot of new faces there. You got 2 reliables coming back in A.J. Westfield, Nate Carter, 2 great individuals, and a lot of talent. The other people probably played some last year, but as far as starters, there's a few defensive starters coming back.
Yeah, pretty much AJ's really the only one. Nate played some D tackle a lot, got a lot of snaps, but because he plays left guard, we have to manage that. But AJ's taken a huge step this year, so we knew at some point that kid's going to mature and look out. He could be one of the best defensive linemen in the whole state, and he's headed that direction. He's grown an inch. He ran a 4.8 40, and so he's a big kid now. He's about 6'2", 280. And he's looking the part. So we're happy that he's coming back. He's just a junior, and that junior class is absolutely loaded for us the next 2 years. But then you've got a lot of kids that played because we play as many kids as we can. Lorenzo Tysonzo playing defensive end. Gabe Moore is as explosive as anybody. One of the kids off the wrestling team. Jonathan West does a great job at defensive line. We rotate a bunch of different nose guards. Even Stonewall goes over there and does a great job.
Best football name ever.
Stonewall Charette,
Yes.
Best football name. Although we got an all-name team coming on the freshman team. This is what's his name? Gabriel Fernandez is coming up on the freshman team. So we're gonna have some names.
Okay.
But going back, linebackers. Sam Sarton's going from tight end to also middle linebacker. Sawyer Boyd plays tight end and middle linebacker.
Right.
Landon Douglas is a new player for us, playing outside linebacker and rotates a bunch with DBs in our different personnel packages. Emilio Green plays there, and then we're about as good on the back end as I've been in my career. So we're very long at the safety position. Braden Carroll plays defense this year, and then we've got a bunch of little pit bulls playing corner, who are short, fast guys, but they're some of the most aggressive kids on the team.
That's a good description. I love that. I'm going to borrow that from you during the broadcast. Some little nasty bulldogs. They'll bite.
Yeah.
But
they're not the big bulldogs. They're like not the English ones. They're the smaller ones. But that's French bulldogs.
Yeah, there we go.
That's Reggie Hubbard and the gang. They're a bunch of angry little guys, but they can play some football, and they're some of the most physical guys on the team.
The practices and scrimmages that I've seen, they'll go get you.
Yep.
And that's exactly what you want. And speaking of Braden Carroll, Coach Junior this year, to me, sitting up there, he's a specimen. He tremendous route runner, receiver, and now seeing him at safety, he can go up and knock down a pass that's intended for somebody near him.
Yeah, and he's matured a lot, Terry. everyone knows that he was going to be a talented player, but you see the big jump in high school usually from your sophomore to junior year. Mm-hmm. So you're seeing it with AJ, you're seeing it with Braden, and junior year is the most important year for college football recruiting. Braden picked up an MTSU offer after camp this year. He went to his first camps. He went to took him down to Georgia Tech. He went to MTSU. He's got another shot of a rising junior to be one of the top receivers in Tennessee, and I think his name's going to start to get out there across the state this year.
Great. Absolutely. We'll take our final break here on McDonald's Coaches Bench. We'll be back and wrap it up with Coach Tygard in just a moment.
2 weeks of this.
I'm giving you Saturday and Sunday off. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, Saturday.
Yeah.
Final segment of Coach's Bench with Coach Chandler Tygard. This is Terry Evans. I'm very happy to be sitting here in a beautiful studio by CHS Live. And once again, thanks to Dale and everybody at CHS Live. Coach, major changes up at Clinton this past spring. They went through some deals with coaches and I think maybe some other people in the school. So on the field, what do you expect? You're facing a new coach. I don't know how much you know about him. You probably know everything by now about him, but what do people expect to see tonight when the Dragons come to Cleveland High for the 7 o'clock kick?
Well, honestly, they've had a lot of turmoil and some of that stuff was public, but they're a better coach team this year. And they're a lot more organized, offense and defensively. I think they're doing a really good job. You can tell, especially defensively, there's a rhyme and reason for what they're doing. So they are defensively. We'll start with them. They are hyper aggressive. So you saw this a lot when I was in Alabama. They are a 3-3 stack, blitz craziness, cause chaos, cause havoc team to where they're sending constant pressure every snap. They're playing a lot of man coverage. They can change it up and do some zone, but they're going to be an aggressive team. And so they've decided, hey, we're coming after you, and we're going to be sending these blitzes from everywhere with some athletic kids. They play a lot of kids both ways. So one scrimmage, they're showing a bunch of defensive linemen that are true D linemen playing on the D line, but that's also their O line. Well, then in another scrimmage, they're playing literally with one person with his hand down, and they're playing all linebackers. So they have the flexibility to go put all their speed out there. They might only have 1 or 2 guys with their hand down, but they're going to be blitzing and causing havoc from everywhere. And so when you do that, typically, we say somebody's band's playing. We're just not sure which one. Right. You'll have more explosive plays offensively. We should, but at the same time, they might have more negative plays against us. Their goal is to cause turnovers. If we turn the ball over, you're much less likely to win the game. And so that's their entire goal, is to get sacks, to get turnovers, knock the ball out, because they are very explosive offensively. It was their offensive coordinator that took over as head coach. So not much has changed offensively, but they can throw the ball as good as anyone on our schedule. They have one receiver, number 7, Bryson Maddox, 6'5". He's got offers from Austin Peay, from Akron, from Memphis. He's a big, tall wide receiver. Trent Collins has been playing him on scout team all week with the number 7 jersey. And so you got to know where he's at on every play, because he had over 200 receiving yards in one scrimmage alone. He's a potential all-state kid. So if you don't know where Bryson Maddox is at, it could be a long night, because their quarterback transferred in from Powell. He's a sophomore with a big arm. They're going to throw a lot of deep balls to number 7. Their running back, Riker Arms, transferred in from Oak Ridge. They've got another running back that transferred in from TKA, the Trinity Christian Academy, the King's Academy. That's who it is in Knoxville. So they've got a lot of transfers. They got a lot of talent, same as last year. They lost the majority of their team, but at the same time, they're mostly playing juniors and seniors, and a lot of transfers that can play. And so Clinton is always extremely athletic. They always throw the ball around, and special teams wise, we haven't seen much to see what they're going to do there. But we put a big emphasis on special teams. Last year, we started the season with an onside kick, so I would assume they're going to be prepared for that.
I don't think that'll stop you. No,
they wouldn't necessarily stop us.
But you've been at this too long to not go away from onside kick sometimes.
Well, if the numbers are in our favor,
Right.
and things are different this year. What we're doing on defense is different. Our kicker situation is the same kicker, but if he can hit the end zone, that changes the numbers. So
and he was
the other night.
Boyd.
Yep, and the wind has a lot to do with it on game day and which way we're going and all those things. So we take all that to account. So we may be doing what we did last year. We may not. But Clinton is a dangerous team. They have a lot of talent, and it's their first game. But honestly, I think their coach is doing a good job, and I think they are going to surprise some people this year.
That's going to be Coach's Bench, brought to you each week by Mark Smith and everybody at McDonald's here in Cleveland. Terry Evans for Coach Tygard saying 10 o'clock Friday night. Be at the celebration on Raider Field. We're hoping to have a big celebration, a winning celebration every Friday night this year.
Come check out those lights.
Check out the lights, the uniforms, helmets, the whole
DJ,
deal.
the whole thing. Go Raiders.
It's going to be worth your time. Be there.